Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, the 4th of April, and it's nearly 10 o'clock, so it's my coffee time. But I won't eat a Kit Kat at this time because it'd be rude if I speak with a full mouth, and no doubt I will get some comments from other people. Now, talking about comments, the one good thing about having a YouTube channel, you do get some really nasty and slamming comments. Now, I don't know whether you watched my video, Introvert, Extrovert, Don't Go to, in Dumagetti. I can't remember the exact title. But one man wrote to me in a comment and said, "You're not introvert, you're unsociable." Yeah, okay. Now, I bet that was written by an extrovert. And this is what I was trying to point out. Why do all extroverts think all introverts should come around to their way of thinking? Anyway, that's by the by, I'm not interested in pricks like that. Anyway, I've also had a few comments about the way I conduct my videos. A lot of people like my sense of humour, and they also like that I'm straightforward and I say what I feel. It's what I call freedom of speech. If I didn't have freedom of speech, then I would have freedom of action, and I would just go like that to everybody. But I've got freedom of speech, and I'm entitled to say what I feel and how I say it. Now, I'm going to tell you straight from the heart why you choose the Philippines to come in Asia. Now, I bet you're sitting there at home in your armchair watching this video, maybe with your wife or partner, and you may be thinking internally in your head about coming to Asia because looking around in your home country, you've had enough of living there, you've had enough of work there, and you've had enough of the woman sitting next to you, and you want a complete change. And so you're thinking of coming to Asia. Well, let me just point out a few things about coming to Asia, which some other bloggers don't do. They all say, come to the Philippines, you do this and you do that, and everything's great, you got the beaches, but it's not, everything is not fucking great. It's things you have to put up with. So let me just go through one or two things. Firstly, the country. I've lived in Thailand. And I've lived in Vietnam. And I've also lived in Cambodia. And I haven't lived in Laos, but I've been there, and it's very similar to Cambodia anyway. But Asia. I've also lived in Kazakhstan, which is Central Asia. Now let me tell you something about them. Firstly, Philippines is a third world country. There's no doubt about that. If you go to Thailand or Cambodia, their infrastructure is more updated. Their infrastructure is better. In the Philippines, they don't even have running water in every house. When I moved into this house, I had a deep well in the corner of my kitchen. And what is a deep well? It's a well that's deep. And you have to use a pump to pump the water into a storage tank. And then you get all slime and it smells and everything else. That's why I changed. Well, obviously the deep well water is free. That's why most people use it, because they can't afford running water. But anyway, I changed to Cebu water, which is filtered and you can cook with it. And I pay for that, but it's not very much. But I pay for the installation myself, and it costs a little bit of money. It cost me 21,000 pesos per pipe because I live nearly 200 meters away. But anyway, I'm happy I've done that now. I got rid of the deep well. And if you have problems with the deep well, then you have problems with flushing lavatories. You have problems with showering. You have problems with everything. Okay, I can have problems with Cebu water, but I can go somewhere else and get water. The infrastructure in the Philippines is not good. The pavements, they're not pavements or walkways as the Americans call them, I think, but I'm referring to the English language because that's what I speak. There's no such thing as pathways. You never see a woman pushing a pram. It's impossible. I even have difficulty walking sometimes because they park bikes on the pavements. The pavements have got holes in, the ridges. The people that install seaway water pipes put them along the pavements and then cover them with concrete and that sort of thing. This is the third world country, everybody. Thailand is more updated. Thailand is very clean, pavements everywhere, nice parks, and I'm not saying that the Philippines don't have nice parks, but they do. But I've been to Manila and Makati, it's very nice, but I'm here in Paho, so I'm just confirmed because, you know, everyone's not going to go to Manila. You're going to go either to the city or the province. But you cannot compare Thailand, even Cambodia and Vietnam. You can walk down the street in Vietnam without falling over. You can walk down the street in Thailand on proper pavements. But here in the Philippines, in the outskirts of, or outside Manila and into the other cities like Lapu-Lapu, you cannot do that. Okay, so don't think you can do it. So think very seriously whether you want to come to the Philippines or not. Okay? When it comes to food, I put my hands up. Thai food is probably the best food I've ever tasted in Asia. Filipino food is also very good if you like that sort of thing. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's very repetitive. Every time they have chop suey, which is like a vegetables cooked in corn flour, pancit, which is like noodles, and they're mad on pork. Excuse me. Everything is pork, whether it's fried, stewed, boiled, whatever. They mad on pork, and especially at parties they have a lechon, which is a whole pig, and everyone goes mad at this lechon. Yeah. And if you have a party with no lechon, they all talk about you. Fucking hell, that tight bastard didn't have a lechon. We always have lechon. Anyway, the food in the Philippines is edible. Of course it's edible. Everyone fucking eats it, that's why. But it's not everyone, it's not foreigners' cup of tea. A lot of foreigners don't like it. A lot of foreigners won't even try it. I'm a foreigner, as you know. I'm not Filipino. Not even by birth. I don't think my father was Filipino. I don't think my mother. No. My father was English. I eat Filipino food, and it's not that bad. I like vegetables and noodles and everything, and I always have done because I have travelled around Asia quite a lot, including India, where you have to be very careful with the food. But in the Philippines, the food is okay, but just give it a go, give it a try. A lot of foreigners, they like their steaks and their, McDonald's and everything. All right, have that occasionally if you want to be a fat bastard. But anyway, just try the food. Like I said, you can't beat Thai food. Thai food to me is outstanding Asian food. And Vietnamese and Cambodian are very, not as good as Thai, but I would say that the Filipino food is probably a drawback to a lot of people. Can I just take a slurp of coffee, please? So, and also, I've never been really scammed in the Philippines. Or not, how can I put it? I've not been intentionally scammed in the Philippines. They're very clever people. When I went to India, I was scammed, or tried to be scammed every time. I went for a walk one day to a local shopping mall, and this guy caught my eye, and I thought, hello, he's going to come up to me, and lo and behold, he did. And he said to me in Indian, where are you going to? I said, I'm going shopping. Oh. Then he said, if I jump on this tuk-tuk, which is like a little motorbike thing, for 20 rupees, he will take me to a shop when I will get everything tax-free. But what he's trying to say is, whatever I buy in this shop tax-free, he gets a commission. Anyway, would you believe it? I was walking around that shopping mall for 15 minutes and I had at least 10 people come up to me with the same scam. In the end, and it's very unusual for me, I got a bit angry about it. And this last guy came up to me and he said about this jeepney, tuk-tuk for 20 rupees. And I said, no, I said, I'm fed up with you lot keep coming. And he said, why are you getting hungry? Why are you getting hungry? Fucking hell, man. I came for a walk and you're the 10th person that's come and fucking asked me if I wanted to go to the tax-free shop. No, I don't. Just leave me alone. In the end, I just went back to my hotel. It's not fun. But they don't realise that. It's never happened to me in Vietnam, I don't think. It happened to me when I first got to Manila. And I read up on scams in the Philippines, funny enough. And the first morning I came out of my hotel in Manila, this Indian guy again, it wasn't the same one, this Indian guy again must have been watching my hotel. Because I was walking down the road and he came up behind me and he said, oh, good morning, sir, good morning. I stay in the same hotel as you. I stay in the same. I said, oh, do you? He says, yes, could you borrow me some money and I'll give it back to you later? Fucking hell. I read up on that scam the night before, would you believe it? And I said, I don't carry any money with me, which was a lie, because I always do. But anyway, he fucked off. That was the only time, intentionally, but that was an Indian in Manila, in Makati actually. But being a foreigner in the Philippines, you do get scammed to a certain extent because they try to put the prices up a bit more for you. Is it a scam? Are they trying to make a little bit more money for themselves, for their family? They probably are, but it's not very nice for the foreigner. You know, they charge a Filipino 100 pesos, a foreigner 150 pesos. And you will get the kids coming up to you with their hands hanging out like that, say, money, money, money. I think that's the first 3 words that they learn of English, actually. But overall, you know, sometimes you need the advice of a Filipino to put you right on certain prices. But for a country, and this is the main thing that you guys that are sitting there in your armchairs thinking, Philippines doesn't sound too bad. The one big factor why you should choose the Philippines is they speak English. Thai don't. Very limited English. And everything is in Thai. Shop signs are in Thai. Forms are in Thai. Everything's in Thai. Same as Vietnam and Cambodia. They're all in their own language. But the Philippines, because it's been predominantly, I wouldn't say influenced by the Americans. So English is widely spoken. Not English. I'm not knocking the Americans for their language, but it's not proper English. But that is the advantage. I went to the Land Transport Office to renew my driving licence, and it was all in English. I went on my own. I'd done the test on my own. I'd done everything on my own. I go to the post office and I can speak to them on my own. I get forms from Sky TV, all in English. Everything is in English. Even the bank withdrawal slips are all in English. The forms are all in English. It's fucking marvellous. It's all English. And that is one of the biggest advantages, because when I lived in Kazakhstan, I had to have a 14-year-old girl come to immigration with me to try and get my ID card, simply because I cannot speak Russian. Yes, Kazakhs mainly speak Russian. Kazakhs don't speak Kazakh. Although they brought a law out that they're trying to teach Kazakhs to speak Kazakh, but a lot of them it's just predominantly Russian. And it's embarrassing, and it's a nightmare standing there with a 14-year-old girl representing you, trying to get a frigging immigration, and you're standing there and you're saying, what they say, hang on. They won't tell you straight away. They tell you when you get out, and it's fucking frustrating. So yes, the Philippines is number one because it speaks English, and most of the people speak English. A lot of the youngsters are a bit embarrassed to speak English, I find, but you don't need anyone to get around the Philippines because everyone speaks English. Now, women. Women are predominantly all the same. You may not notice that. Women throughout the world have a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, a pair of tits and a pussy. The only difference is their facial features and the colour of their skin. Did you realise that? So anyway, when you're sitting there in your armchair listening to this video and you're looking at your woman with a big fat arse and her arms, underneath her arms are wavering around, and you look at her and you think, fucking hell, did I marry that? And then you think of what you can get in Asia. There's no comparison, is there, guys? Eh? If you're going through a divorce, or you are divorced, or you're single, or you know, for whatever reason you want to pack up bags and move, then I would say the Philippines is best. Not because they do have very beautiful women in the Philippines, mature and young, but they also do in the other Asian countries. But the advantage is it's the English. Everyone speaks English to a majority. And if you want to go shopping, you don't need a Filipino to come with you. You can go to a shopping mall and everything's in English. They have international aisles as well, but everything's in English. You don't need it. So I must thank the Americans for that. You know, you guys did do a good job when you were here in the early days. So well done, the Americans. Although you spell tyres wrong and garbage is rubbish, and we call it the Caribbean, where you call it the Caribbean. Anyway, that's by the by. So women are great in the Philippines. Yes, they are. They're great in all Asia. They are beautiful women, slim women, and the Philippines, like I said, has the advantage of the speaking English. If you go out with a girl in Thailand, the only words they know is up to you. If you say, I want to take you to bed with 5 other men, she'll say, up to you. And if I say, I want to eat my dinner off your bare arse, she'll say, up to you. And that's all the words they know. God's sake, it's so fucking frustrating. When you say to her, sorry, I've had enough of you, just piss off, she'll say, up to you. Oh, God, I couldn't fucking make that anymore. Anyway, transport. Yes, there's transport everywhere, especially jeepneys and tricycles and everything else. I'm sorry about the children. I think they're getting tortured, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, transport in the Philippines is in abundance. Now, I'm talking about the city. I think in the province you'll definitely need a car. Hanging around for a jeepney or a tricycle, I think, is impossible or is completely insane. So in the province, yes, you definitely need a car. And then there's another thing, driving. Driving over here is not easy in the city or in the province, but you get used to it. So in the city where I am, I can walk out of here within a minute. I can jump on a bus to Cebu. I can jump on a jeepney anywhere I want to. I can get on a tricycle wherever I want to. It's in abundance and it's cheap, but I have a car. I have a cheap little Japanese car, which suits me, just running around town getting stuff because my friend owns a shop. And I don't have any worries about transport. If I don't want to use the car, then I take a transport. So I've used transport in Thailand, mainly taxis as well, but the tricycles are very far between. I don't think there's many in the Thailand. They have lots of motorbikes, So you can ride on the back of a motorbike, the same as they do here as well. So if you're standing on the side of the road and a motorbike stops, it don't mean it's coming to chat you up. It means, would you like a lift? So transport in the Philippines is, yes, it's plenty of it in the cities. In the cities, yeah. Tricycles and stuff like that are mainly in the smaller cities like Paho and Lapu-Lapu. In Manila, they do jeepneys, but the big long jeepneys, and also taxis as well. So it depends on what part of the Philippines you go to. You have to do your research. And that brings me on to the last thing about location. I live in the city. Excuse me, let me have a coffee. I live in the city, and you can probably hear the cockerel in the background, and I think there's nothing you can do about that. You're in the city. Even if you go to the province, your neighbour might decide to buy a cockerel or two. They all do it. Like I've said in previous videos, men think more of their cocks than their wives. But anyway, the locations is very important. I live in the city. I can walk out of here, and in 10 minutes I'm at the nearest hospital. I can walk across the road, where I will go after I've done this video, to Super Metro and buy some stuff for my dinner tonight. And I can walk 1 minute, I'm into the terminal where the buses are, but my car's parked there anyway. And it's in abundance. The city has its advantages, especially if you're very, very old and you have medical issues as well. You probably be better off in the city, because as I've said in past videos, one man on a video said it would take 3 hours for an ambulance to reach him, and the worst that can happen to him is a stroke or a heart attack. So by the time the ambulance gets there, he's going to be dead anyway. And I thought to myself, well, what is the point of going to the Philippines if that is your attitude, that within 3 hours you could be dead if you have a stroke or an heart attack? Why come to the Philippines if that's going to be your attitude? You might as well stay at home and die. But anyway, it's what you want. If you want peace and quiet and privacy, and I wouldn't say so much about security. You can build a high wall around your house, but who wants to live in a compound with a big high wall around it? But you do have a nice garden. You can plant your trees and your fruit, and it's just you and your partner and whoever else is there. But if you want to go anywhere or something happens, unless you've got a car, if your wife can drive or your partner drive, then fine. But if you're the only one that can drive and something happens to you, it's going to be a big major problem. Ambulances can't get through if it's raining and everything. But I'm not knocking the province. The province looks very good, and sometimes like with this fucking cockerel out there, I like to wring its neck. But anyway, what can you do? You have various options. You can live in the province in quiet, but it doesn't stop your neighbours doing karaoke or buying dogs or getting cockerels or anything. If you live in the city, at least you're near to everything. I can walk out of here. I've got cafes. Well, not cafes. I've got food stores where I can buy food I can buy my lunch for 150 peso. I've got pharmacies here. I've got a shopping mall here. I've got a bus terminal here. My bank is literally, all right, 10 minutes walk. It's not. I've got Cebu Home Builders just down the road where I buy all my DIY stuff. Everything is here. But that is your decision, guys. Your decision. So, out of all the choices in Asia, yes, I would definitely pick the Philippines. Mainly because it speaks English. And that, guys, is a big tick, because I've lived in other countries. A lot of these guys that are on YouTube saying come to the Philippines and everything else and everything's so great, they haven't lived in other countries. I have. I've lived in Russia, I've lived in Kazakhstan, I've lived in Cyprus, I've lived in Vietnam, I've lived in Thailand, I lived in Cambodia. I have lived in these countries. And like I said, although the Philippines is an up-and-coming third world country, it doesn't have the infrastructure that the other countries have. So this is what you have to put up with. You have to put up with their culture and their different ways. Yes, you can go to a supermarket and buy food and everything. You've got to get used to the culture and their ways, and they do have some very funny ways in their cultures here, which I'm still learning. Especially parking motorbikes on a pavement where everyone has to walk in the road to get round it. Or they stop dead in the only access point that people can walk. They stop dead and look on their fucking phones. But that's all. In any country, you have to get used to their ways and their cultures and everything. But in the Philippines, it's a little bit difficult because the infrastructure is not there either. So, think seriously about this, guys. I know if you're sitting there and you're thinking, fucking hell, what do I do now? But if you don't like the Philippines, you can always go to Thailand. But, don't come to these places unless you've got some money saved up or you've got a regular income coming in. And I don't go by all these videos that say you need $4,000 or whatever. Can you live on $500 and what? It depends on you and your lifestyle and what you want to rent. One guy keeps saying, "Oh, you need $4,000 to come here," but yet he lives in a fucking house which costs him about $80 a month. Some live in a house costing $400, $500, $600 a month. It's entirely up to you. This house that I'm in here, I bought it. And I don't pay rent, and it's the best thing I ever done. I fucking hate paying rent. I hate paying someone else's mortgage for them. And yes, I apologise for my language, but some people like my videos because I speak the truth. I don't sit in front of the camera and just give bullshit. Come to the Philippines, it's great, you can go to the beaches and everything. Yes, you can go to the beaches, but you can go to the beaches in fucking other countries as well. It's not about, you shouldn't get pissed off going to the beach every day. The biggest advantage in the Philippines is they speak your language. And that is the main thing. The food isn't great, but I get used to it, but you've got to try it. If you're going to come to Asia, or in particular the Philippines, open up. Open up your digestive system and divulge in the noodles and the chop sueys. And I don't eat dried fish though. I don't eat dried fish. They fucking smell terrible. And anyway, I don't eat squid with black ink either. I've tried it, but it's not my cup of tea. But anyway, other stuff is lumpia. It's like a spring roll. I love spring rolls. I love noodles. So I'm happy here. But the main thing is, guys, they speak English. I went to a paint shop and said, "Do you have any 1-inch masking tape?" Yes sir. If that was Kazakhstan or in fucking Thailand, I'll still be trying to ask someone to fucking help me. Anyway, I'm coming to the end now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's straight from the heart. Sorry if I've upset somebody, but that's my way. And I'm not unsociable. Believe it or not, if I met you outside, I would speak to you and I'll be smiling. "Hello, how are you?" But fucking subscribe, will you? For God's sake, I need subscribers. I don't sit here all fucking morning talking on the... Oh, I'm sorry, I should be looking at the camera. I don't sit here all morning on the camera just hoping, just giving you information. I want subscribers. And the more subscribers I get, the more information I can put out to people. I'm trying to help you guys. I am not here to promote the Philippines. There are good things in all the other countries, like Thailand for food. But the Philippines speaks English, and that is a big, big advantage. Just imagine going to like City Hall to do your passport or something, or anything, and they give you a document all in Filipino. Isn't that a fucking nightmare? But everything here is in English. Amazing. Everything is in English. So, it's coming up to 30 minutes. And I will end it now. If you've got any comments, keep them clean, keep them nice, and have a nice day, everybody. From Jeff in the Philippines, or should I say Jeff living in the Philippines, goodbye.